Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me once again. I want to talk about in this video allegedly an incident that happened in Washington, D.C. due to the federalization of the police department there. And it's about this guy that was riding on a moped. Some of you probably already heard about it. Riding on a moped, he was suddenly arrested by D.C. police officers, or what appeared to be D.C. police officers, or maybe perhaps Army soldiers. I don't know, but they arrested this guy, and of course, people was upset about it. Said this guy was innocent. He had nothing to do with anything. Blah 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 blah. This kind of thing. That's the mantra that's being spun right now due to the federalization of the police department in Washington D.C. And it doesn't matter what what Trump does. It's interesting. It doesn't matter what Trump does. I don't care what he does. It's always bad. It's always bad, according to the left. It's always bad. There's nothing he can do right. And everybody on the left, everything they do is right, even though it's not. So, but let's get right into this article and see what the deal actually is. Here's the article right here. So you guys know I'm making this up. The White House claimed on Sunday that the press misreported a story about officers arresting a man operating his moped in D.C., alleging that he had suspected gang affiliations and violently resisted arrest. Now, let's listen to this report, apparently. Initial reports from the Washington Post and Politico claimed that the president's crackdown on crime in the nation's capital led to an innocent man being arrested while riding his moped. Now, could such a thing happen? I'm pretty sure it could. I'm pretty sure such a thing like that could happen. But let's read further into this article and see what this article's viewpoint is on this alleged arrest. Yesterday morning, just off 14th Street, a group of masked law enforcement officers arrested a moped driver. Okay, it says onlookers stood near a coffee shop and the entrance to a luxury condo building, recording the altercation on their phones. WAPO reporter Dan Rosentwig, Ziff, whatever, was among them. Shouts from the crowd that the officers, whose vests read simply police, identify the agency with which they were affiliated, were dismissed, reported Politico. Do I have to answer to you? One officer barked back, his question rhetorical. You've got to answer to somebody, yelled a pedestrian. The officers never identified themselves, never provided their badge numbers, never revealed their agency, it added. Now remember, this is the report from this other news source, okay? Which lets you know that all news sources might not be accurate. The one I'm reading here might not be accurate, but this article that I'm reading here is simply giving you the facts of the case. This article, the writer of this article that I'm reading is not giving their opinion. They're just giving you the facts of the case, okay? So we can't say anything about this article being biased that I'm reading. It's just giving the facts, which is what all news sources should do. Just give the facts, and then you interpret whether or not it's a hidden agenda or whatever. That's up to you to determine. I'm just going to give you the facts. But anyway, let's go on. The officers never identified themselves, never provided their badge numbers, never revealed their agency, it added. They took the moped driver into an unmarked SUV and spirited him off, destination unknown. A block away, the weekend brunch service at La Diplomate, whatever, I don't know, continued without an interruption. The article goes on to say, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt claimed in a post on X that the press did not ask the administration for comment, adding that the man had alleged gang affiliations and gave an officer a concussion upon arrest. Quote, political playbook today was written to fear D.C. residents into believing federal law enforcement randomly arrested an innocent, quote, moped driver, she wrote. If Politico had reached out to the White House for comments before publishing, we could have provided them with the facts. The moped driver was an illegal alien criminal from Venezuela with suspected gang affiliation and an active final order of removal from the country. Quote, upon his arrest, The illegal alien criminal resisted the arrest, and a law enforcement officer suffered a concussion as a result, she added, end of article. Now, what are we to make of this type of stuff? What are we to make of this? As I said earlier, it's possible. And I think those are, I mean, I get it. Those are legit fears from residents in Washington, D.C. But who is causing this fear? Who is causing all of these? Well, I won't say all these residents. I mean, but a decent number of residents in Washington, D.C. to feel the way they're feeling. I mean, can any of these police officers and law enforcement officers and all the rest, because of due to the federalization of police, can any of them do anything, right? I mean, the way some of these residents are thinking is like they can't do anything right. That everybody that gets arrested is an innocent bystander. How accurate is that possibly? Now, according to Levette here in her post on X, she suggested that she was saying essentially that the person that was arrested was had affiliations with a Venezuelan gang. Is that true or false? I don't know. This could be leading to a bigger agenda. I do believe, in my personal opinion, and I'm not going to get into the details here in this video. Okay, that's for another YouTube channel altogether. But yeah, I mean, I do believe that there is a bigger picture, but we have to keep in mind and remember why President Trump initiated this federalization of the Washington, D.C. police. Whether we believe that there's going to be a bigger agenda and this is going to be all over the country and is going to eventually create a police state is another story in and of itself. But let's look at the issue here in Washington, D.C. Because allegedly some of the Washington, D.C. residents, or at least what I'm seeing and what I'm observing from various sources, is that many of them, and they're black, okay, are happy about the federalization of the police. They feel that Donald Trump and what he is doing is really helping them. And I've seen video after video after video of these black residents filming themselves and saying, man, I'm glad Trump is doing this. Why would everybody be mad about this? The only people that are mad about this is people I forgot the man's name. Al Sharpton and all of these, I said this before, and all these black gatekeepers that are keeping black people on the Democratic plantation, okay, for their own selfish purposes and reasons, they're the only ones complaining. It doesn't seem that too many black people are complaining about the federalization of the police. There are some, and I've seen those, okay? So it's a mixed bag on either way. But, this whole situation with this guy being arrested and everybody yipping and yapping about him being the innocent person, and these people, these masked, quote unquote masked guys dressed as police officers come and grab this innocent guy riding his moped off his moped and put him in the back of a vehicle is where does that the idea that he was an innocent person come from? See, in my opinion, this is what happens when people only have one source of news. They never go outside the source of news that they're getting. If they only have one stream of news and that is all they're hearing, whether it be the right or whether it be the left, and that's all you're hearing is that one stream of news, you're not going to get accurate information. You're not going to get all the sides and be able to determine what is right and what is wrong. We're already living in a time where it's really hard to decipher right and wrong in terms of, well, I won't say right and wrong, because I judge right and wrong from two sources: the Word of God, which I believe the Bible is the Word of God, and consciousness. Our conscience, which is God-given in my opinion, is what helps us to understand right and wrong without someone actually telling us, okay? But that's another story in itself, and I digress. But at any rate, it's hard for people to really decipher whether or not information is accurate and whether or not it isn't accurate, because you got so many different sources out here trying to decipher it for you. But as I said, if there's only one stream of information coming to these people, towards these people, and they're not willing to look elsewhere to see maybe, just maybe, what Trump is doing is perhaps a good thing, regardless of whether or not we think it's some kind of Gestapo or some kind of whatever, or he's Hitler and all this other nonsense, okay? And whether or not it's going to produce a police state, which I had a talk with someone some time ago about perhaps the bigger picture could be that. But I personally don't believe that Trump is in his mind saying, okay, I want to create a police state. I don't believe that. Now, the elites at the top of the pyramid, without going into too much detail about what that's all about, I believe that that's what they want. But let's be realistic. Let's be realistic now, you know. When crime is high in a place and you're getting tired of leaving your home, terrified that you're going to get robbed, terrified that you're going to get deleted, terrified that somebody's going to break your car. I mean, it's hard to argue that, people. It's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue. And I get so sick and tired of people yipping and yapping about, well, this is race related and all this. I mean, man, you can argue that all day. I don't believe, in my opinion, that this is race related. Okay, this guy that got arrested on his moped and thrown in the quote unquote thrown in the back of the vehicle and zipped off somewhere. I mean, you know, I don't believe, in my opinion, that that's what that's all about. I don't believe this person was innocent. According to Levette, she stated in the X, formerly known as Twitter, that this guy had affiliations with Venezuelan gangs. Who's to say that he didn't have affiliation with Venezuelan gangs? Who's to say that he didn't? Me? All the people that's out there hooping and hollering and crying and saying, oh, he's innocent, he's innocent. Really? Where do you get the idea that he's innocent? Well, Politico said it. Okay, Politico said that. But is Politico, can you determine whether or not Politico's assessment of this is absolutely accurate? I'm talking about the people that actually was saying this type of stuff. Can you determine that? Or do you have any other source of news that could give you another perspective on that? I'm just saying. So I think that that's what we need to, these people need to do. We're going to see how this pans out. We're going to see how this pans out at any way. But yeah, I just wanted to make a comment about that because I understand the controversy around it. I get it. I understand the controversy around it. And I understand why people are frustrated and mad about it. But we also have to really, really think about the reasoning behind this. Now, some people may argue, well, this is a planned thing. It could be planned. I even mentioned that to someone some time ago, that this could be a planned, chaotic situation. But like I said, that's for another video. That's for another channel, really. Okay. And that would be a channel on esoteric things. Okay. But I probably wouldn't be able to do that on YouTube, right? You'd have to see me on Rumble for something like that. Could it be that? More than likely, it's possible. But as I said, in ending this video, I don't believe that Trump is sitting up saying, I want to take over this country. I want to federalize all the police, Now, let me say this at the ending of this video. And I'm going to try not to misquote him, but I'm going to paraphrase his words. Evidently, Thomas Sowell, this brilliant man right here, I can't remember what book that I have, but I have quite a few of his books. I have over 20 of his books, okay? Stated during the time of, I think it's this one right here, Dismantling America. Yeah, that's Thomas Sowell's book, yeah. Written back in 2010, he made this statement, and I didn't know anything about it, but this is when Obama, former President Obama, was in office. And apparently, Obama mentioned the federalization of the police. He mentioned that idea in such a way that he was suggesting, as Thomas Sowell stated in this book here, that Obama wanted to actually federalize the police. The question inevitably is, Obama having said that, and I know he did say it. I know he did say it because I know Thomas Sowell is not that kind of person. Thomas Sowell is a even-minded man. He doesn't take sides. He just looks at factual data. That's the one thing I admire about him. Okay, he gives facts where facts are, and he's not biased. And so he wouldn't make up a lie to try to get views or get sales in his books. And I know Obama said that. So the question inevitably is, why did Obama make the comment about suggesting rather to federalize the police? I guarantee you the mainstream media outlets did not capitalize off of that. But now here Trump is, and oh my God, everybody going crazy when your homeboy, okay, when your homie, you know what I'm saying, Obama made the statement years ago. The federalization of the police. And he wasn't saying it somebody else to do it. He was suggesting that he wanted to do it. It didn't come to pass, thankfully, because had he federalized the police, it probably would have been every state. Since Obama is a globalist, and he is a globalist, Obama is a globalist. I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah. People getting all upset about this and stuff like that. But look, I don't think Trump is thinking this, whether he's getting intel from his advisors to say this and do this is another story in and of itself. But I don't think he's thinking it, and I don't think he's intentional, because I don't think Trump is a globalist in the sense that he wants a one world global government. I don't think he wants that. Okay, he's all about America and America first, and then everybody else. Then you can come on in, but we got to take care of home first. That's what I perceive about Trump. But anyway, that's another story in and of itself, and I'm going to go into the details about that. But anyway, that's what I had to say about this moped driver. I don't believe he was innocent. I do believe in my heart that he was affiliated with the Venezuelan gang, but it could be something else. I don't know. But that's just what I believe. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.